All praises to the horizon. Peace, wealth, and wisdom. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. And today I want to do this video explaining to you guys why you should stay away from the credit industry. If you're not rich, stay away from the credit industry. What I am saying is this. You do not need to focus on establishing your credit. You do not need to focus on raising your credit. If you're not rich, all you need to focus on is raising your money. Credit is not a replacement for money. It is not revenue. But what it is a scheme against the poor. Meaning, a poor man buys a pair of Jordans for $200. He uses a credit card. He pays almost double. You get it? And so the credit card company makes money off the poor man. It doesn't work like that for the rich man. Why I say that? Because rich people use their credit and they don't pay it back. And it doesn't matter if they don't pay it back because they're rich. They have cash. And so for the poor man, only thing that can happen to him is he acquires debt. To give a poor man credit is to basically abuse him and say, get everything you can afford and I'll charge you double for it. And so you guys, if you're not rich, you stay away from credit. You don't need to focus on raising your credit score. Just focus on raising your money. Now, I want you guys to grasp, credit is not revenue. Credit is a business. No different than the loan shark in your neighborhood. He says, I'll give you $20, you give me back $30. Credit is that. It is not revenue, but it is a business based on revenue. It's a loaning business. Legal lending. The loan shark, he'll go to jail. The government won't. They call it credit. And so it's something that broke people use, basically. If you have good credit, all that means is you're a great borrower. Now, I'm not knocking anyone who uses credit, who works in a credit union type of business where you're trying to give out credit, and I'm not knocking any of that. In fact, I want to explain to all the people who are not rich, and they say, but I still want to build my credit, Solace. Let me teach you the accurate way, if you're poor, how to use credit against itself. Because as I said, when you're dealing with credit, the credit card industries or the credit industries, they pretty much abuse the poor. Meaning, a poor man uses credit and then he winds up paying for whatever he purchased and he's paying the credit industry. He could have just waited till he got the money to buy it himself. He would have had it in the same amount of time without debt. And so it's an abuse thing. Now, when you're dealing with credit and the rich men have money. They have money to buy anything they want. But they'll use their credit instead. It's like how rich men steal. See, the legal lending business opens up a lane for illegal stealing. And so rich men use credit to steal. When a broke man uses credit to steal and don't pay it back, he's already broke, now he has debt. You get it? It works against him. For the rich man, it does nothing to him. He uses his credit, he doesn't pay it back, he has cash to still buy anything he wants. He's still going to get offered more credit because they're like, well, I know he got it. And so it doesn't work the same. Now, let's say you're poor and you say, Solace, I still want to raise my credit. Let me teach you the accurate way, if you're poor, how to use credit against itself. Otherwise, you using credit is a waste of time. You build up your credit, you still don't have money. And so now when you're using that credit, you're making yourself really not have no money. You get it? It's like being poor, then going to college on financial aid, not financial aid, but a student loan. It's like being poor, going to college on a student loan, getting out of college, getting a good job, to then have to give all that money back. It's like, man, this is double the work. When do I get to enjoy what I want? Never. If you're poor, playing with credit, never. And so I want to explain to you guys, if you're poor, how this works, or how you can use credit against itself. Now, let's say you're poor. You don't even have to be poor. You're just not rich. And so we buy things, sneakers, clothes, groceries. We pay cash for these things. Now, if you're poor, this is what you do. When you're about to go buy some Jordans, you get a credit card. Listen closely. Before you leave your house to go buy those Jordans, you pay the price that you're about to swipe. If the Jordans are $200, you send the credit card people $200, and then you leave your house and go swipe and buy those Jordans. Now, a lot of you guys will say that's stupid. I could have just used my cash instead of going through all of that. That's extra work, Solace. It's not extra work. See, it's better that you buy through the bank than buying on your own. A lot of you guys say, I don't get it. The credit card is associated with the bank. They're loaning you money. Whenever you buy something with their money, you get credit if you pay it back. Now, you're going to pay it before you even leave to go buy the thing. And so you're going to get that credit. As opposed to a regular joker who goes out, buys sneakers, clothes, he gets no credit. He spent, let's say, $250,000 in his whole life on clothes and shoes. But he cannot go to these clothing stores and say, can I get some on credit because I'm a little broke? Now, if you do all your spending using a credit card, meaning even miscellaneous things, socks, everything you can think of that you spend cash on, use the credit card. But pay it back soon as you buy. Meaning don't pay back the monthly payments. No. Pay it in full. The same way you was going to pay cash for it, pay using the card. This way, you're using the bank. When you pay using the bank's money instead of your own, you get credit. And so now, you spend $250,000 in your whole life on clothes, shoes, and things. But for you, you got credit now. Meaning, you never used the credit card for credit. You pay it right off. Kind of using it how we would say stupidly. Say, man, he swiped his card and bought Jordans, and then he paid the credit card company the money for the Jordans the same day. He could have just used his cash. No, he used their money. And so in that, he gets credit. Meaning, if you spend about $250,000 on sneakers, clothes, and things in your whole life, in that way, you have about $250,000 worth of credit. Meaning that person can apply for $250,000 worth of credit. The person that just spends their own money, they get no credit for it. And so what I'm telling you is, always spend the bank's money in the way I just explained. Meaning you don't use credit to get things that you can't afford. You use credit so that you get credit for anything you buy. You get it? You say, I bought this for $100 and I want $100 credit for it too, for later. You get it? I bought them Jordans for $200. I want a $200 credit for later. And so when you use the bank's money, meaning that credit card, that's what you're doing. Everything you're buying, you're establishing a credit line of the same amount for yourself. For later, not for you to use now. You stay poor. You just let the credit build, never using it. It never using you. Working in your favor. For a rainy day, of course. Or for if you decide to do like rich people do and use that credit line and never pay it back. Legal stealing. And so you have to grasp. This is how credit can be used if you're poor. But most poor people, they're not going to pay the credit card company back as soon as they buy something in full. Most poor people will say, man, I'm going to just pay the monthly bill. In that, the credit card company wins. Meaning, whatever you bought, so it's like paying twice for it. You buy some Jordans, you pay the credit card company off in pieces. They make damn near what the price of the Jordans was off you. It's like buying the Jordans twice. It's like me buying you a pair of Jordans, and then later on down the line, I get the money back that I loaned you for the Jordans and the price of the Jordans, meaning double. I get back double from you. And so those Jordans cost you double. But you say it don't matter. I got to wear them and I got to have them when I couldn't afford them. So it's good. And so this is my point. Stay away from credit if you're poor. If you haven't been taught how to use credit, as I just explained, which most people have no clue that you use credit that way. Meaning, I'm sure you guys have heard, oh, if you get a credit card and when you buy something, pay it back immediately. But it wasn't explained to you in depth. Like, use the bank's money as opposed to yours. Therefore, you get credit for anything you buy. And so that's the only benefit you can get if you know how to use credit. If you don't know how to use credit, so credit's going to use you. And so it's like the casinos. The house never loses. So you have to grasp. It's a part of Babylon. When I say Babylon, I mean a city, a system that kind of makes the people sheep and uses them up, like shepherds use sheep. And so it's a deep thing. Y'all have to be wary of all the things y'all like to fall into. Y'all like to fall into rich man talk, forgetting that y'all ain't rich. And so credit, that whole industry, is something that rich people started. It's something that rich people know how to use. Meaning, rich men know I'll use my credit to buy something that I really don't want to pay for. Something I want to steal. I ain't never going to pay it back. Rich men use credit like that. Poor men use credit to buy things they can't afford. In that, they wind up being in debt. Not only for what they can't afford, but twice. Meaning you owe what you couldn't afford, and you owe the credit people damn near the same price of what you couldn't afford. You get it? Like paying double. It's like being abused. You say, damn, I'm already poor. I use your credit to buy them Jordans for $200. Now I owe you $380. That's like me giving you a free $180 because you bought me. You get it? And so the poor man get abused using credit. He don't know how it really works. He think he just supposed to raise his credit score so that he can get anything he want on credit that he can't afford. It's not about you having bills and being a goddamn slave. You use the credit. And the way I explained, you win. Meaning, you never really bought anything. Everything you bought so you can cash out one day. You bought those sneakers. You paid the credit card company the money and then bought it. Meaning, instead of paying the store or buying from the store, you're pretty much buying from the bank. And so in that, when you buy from the bank, you get credit. A lot of y'all confused. You say, what you mean buying from the bank? When you use a credit card and you take that money, your cash, and send it directly to the credit card company for whatever you about to use the credit card for, you're buying from the bank. Meaning if you're doing it that way. If you're paying it off in pieces, I'm not talking about you. Credit is using you. But if you're about to buy some Jordans and you send the credit card people the money for the Jordans, then swipe and buy them, you're buying from the bank as opposed to the store. The store not going to give you credit later on down the line. The bank going to give you credit for that purchase. Meaning in you paying the credit card off like that fast, the credit is raised. And so over years, all the things you've ever bought, so you can look at it as it didn't go to waste. You actually got credit for everything you bought. And the normal person, they didn't. They just bought things. Somebody else used their credit and paid it off in pieces. They just got used up by the credit people. Meaning they bought things twice. Or they paid for it twice. Because you're going to have to pay credit back with interest. Paid for it twice. And so if you poor, you don't need those cobweb headaches. See, a lot of people promoting raise your credit and all these things. Y'all have to remember, people work in this field of business. And so they're going to tell you what's going to get their paycheck. But, as I just explained to you in detail, stay away from it. If you're poor, raise your money. Don't be concerned with raising your credit. If you raise your money, you'll have credit. Meaning, I never seen a broke motherfucker with good credit. But I've seen rich motherfuckers with fucked up credit. And so let that be your first lesson. Raise your money. You don't need to be concerned with your credit. Why? Like I said, it's just legal lending. And so all it means is you're a great borrower. You borrow and you pay back. That does nothing for you. And so use credit as I explained. You'll be alright in this life. Now, before I sign out, I want to say this one thing. If anyone's new watching and you've been thinking to yourself, damn, why is this brother's lips so white and ashy? Well, I like powdered donuts. If you go into any of my videos, they'll be a little bit chapped and dry. This is okay. This is how real men lips look, as I always tell you guys. Greasy lips. I don't come from them times. I come from the times where women respected crusty lips. They say that's a man because his lips are crusty. Mine's are the opposite. They're greasy and lipstick up. And so he's a man. That's why his lips is crusty. It's supposed to be like that. And so, you know, don't knock me. I like powdered donuts. I was eating some. You know. So the lips get a little white. Ain't no thing. Conscious Cutie here. The wise one. Peace and wisdom.